Okay, let's look at how you create a new workflow and what the best way to do that might be. So, one way to do it is just to simply add a new workflow from the workflows area. So, again, you're going to go into your marketing tab, you're going to go into workflows, which it defaults to, and then you're just going to click add new workflow. All right. From here, it's going to ask you a couple different questions. So, you're going to give it a name. Your new workflow might be test workflow on an order page. It's going to ask you about a run type. So what you want to do is probably run this. One of these two are going to be your options: simultaneous, multiple runs per contact simultaneous, multiple runs per contact back to back, or only one run per contact. So my recommendation would be to use back-to-back if you're testing and doing a lot of back-to-back runs, because what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to do that without it saying, what is this guy doing, and resetting it every time. So if it's one person that's going through, you're probably going to run this only one run per contact because you don't want people going back through. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a test workflow on an order page, and then you're going to create that workflow, and you're going to go in here. It's going to say no trigger set. Now, at this point, keep in mind that this workflow is not associated with any particular funnel. So when you go in here, it's going to say this workflow has no triggers, and it's going to prompt you to set everything up from scratch. So you can make this active. I'm going to say event type is going to be order, successful purchase there. Although you can set this up for applied tag, remove tags, order purchase, I think are going to be probably some of your most common. If you have subscriptions where they can cancel, upgrade, downgrade, workflows to remove and add tags appropriately or remove accesses to particular things will probably become very important at that point in time. So for this, we're going to say order successful purchase just to keep things simplistic. And then you have to select which funnel this belongs to. Now, for me, this isn't too hard because I have one funnel with one step in it. I just selected the one funnel and the one page and then the one product that I have. So all that is going to come up here. If you want to edit this information, you can always come back in. Maybe you don't want to allow anonymous contacts. I don't want to because they do need an order. I want them to have an email address for this particular information. If you're like, you know what, I don't like this trigger anymore, just click delete trigger. Once you're done, click save changes, and it will be right here. Now, I'm going to give you one other place before we go too far about how you can set this up or where you can go to set this up. Okay, so there's that. You can add additional triggers, or you can close this and begin setting up your triggers. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back. I'm going to click the back page. We're going to go to the funnels. I think an easier way, especially if you have a lot of funnels, is to go into your funnel, the funnel itself. So we're going to go into my new test funnel here. Okay, so now that we're in the funnel, we're in that little view where we can see all of our funnel pages. You'll see this tab on the right side where it's got little messages, whatever that is. You can click on that. That's referring to your currently attached workflows. If there's nothing in here, it will give you the option to add a workflow. Now, we've already created one because I just did. So if you want to disconnect that, this is where you would do that. You can actually just disconnect it and it will actually completely delete that workflow, and you'll have to, but now when you click on it, you can just re-add that and it'll take you in. So we now have a couple workflows in here already. You can either click on the new workflow and it'll take you through that process of creating a workflow that is now already associated with your funnel and that particular funnel step. So we're just going to come down here and say order successful. So I think that that's a quicker and easier way to set that up personally. And then when you come in here, it now gives you the ability to continue setting up your workflow. You can go in and double check it. You can add additional triggers. And that's what we're going to do right now. So those are the two ways to set up the trigger, to set up that workflow initially. But once you're in here, everything is the same. And all you have to do is click on the plus. So our trigger, in this particular case, a product was ordered on this particular page, and then we can click that plus button, and we can now see in the right-hand column all the different follow-on actions that we can take. Okay, so there might be different things that you want to do. The workflow may include a conditional split path, which would be, we'll get into that in the abandoned cart sequences. I think for this particular example, we're not going to do that, but we can send emails. We can send an asset. So if you have inside of my assets, you have an asset like a PDF or an MP3, you can automatically go in here to send an asset because maybe they purchased something and you have it in there ready to go. All you have to do is come in here, select it, and then click on Create Step. Now I don't have anything, so it's prompting me to do a new asset and then upload that file. Now, I'm not going to go through that right now, but you could do that. So we're going to go back in here. You may want to send an email. Now you can come in here, pick from one of these email templates, and then you go in here, give it a headline. This is my pre-headline. Select an address. Remember all that info, all the stuff that we did earlier in the marketing stuff was kind of leads up to here. Remember? So Matthew, this is now we can send an email and we can select one of those addresses that we've created and we can begin creating that email step. This is why we set a lot of stuff up previously. Now it's asking, please publish your template. So we're going to go in, we're going to continue looking at this. We now need to go in and actually set up our email, make it look like we want it to. Let's just say this is what I want it to look like. But over here, you can see all the different things that you can add to this. You can add spacers, some social, some HTML elements, paragraph. You can basically make it look like a website being sent inside of an email, which we're not going to get quite that complex here. Could it be done? Yes. Can you send a test? Yes. Can you discard the whole thing and get out of here? Try it again another day? Yes. We're just going to click on publish. All right. We now no longer have that, but we have an email ready to go out. So as soon as somebody buys, that email goes out. Okay. Now, if we want that to have a small delay in there, we could always click on delay and say hold customer for a set period of time. Maybe you want to see if they're going to refund within 5 minutes of ordering their product. So you don't want that to happen. You might put a 1 hour delay on there and click create. You could also do minutes, days, weeks, months, and years. Okay. So we're just going to create a 1 hour delay. So when somebody buys something, they get a 1 hour delay and then this product kicks out that new asset. So let's look at what else we can add into this, which might be to trigger another workflow. Maybe you have another workflow that you want to take place. So this one takes care of those immediate action steps that you want to happen. And then maybe you have a conditional split path, like if a specific action takes place, then you want to trigger a whole nother workflow over here. So in other programs, I've seen this set up and called automations, and it works really well. Okay. So you can also tag a contact. Maybe you want to add a contact at some point here. So we're going to add a contact, and it's going to be, let's see, add or remove. It might be a new contact here, ordered product, and then create step. With that tag, we don't need anybody to go through an abandoned cart sequence or something, right? Because they've ordered it and they had an hour to make that purchase. Let's see what else we can add to this. We can add a note to the contact's profile that says that it was ordered. We can be notified when customer meets the set conditions. This is good. Let's look at this here. Okay. So now maybe there's a notification like an email or a notification like a desktop notification. Select team members. This might go out to me, or I could set this to go out to a specific person on the team if it's more relevant to them, and then just have a quick message so that it goes out via email, and it will be something like, hey, someone just purchased that cool new product. Okay. So it doesn't have to be anything major. You can go through and make this a little more formal if you want. There's even merge tags. So I could put in here the contact phone number like this to sell them something else. And then it says contact.phone _number, and then you update the step. And that phone number for the contact is now added into this notification. Now that's really good customer resource management or CRM there. Okay. So let's go. What else could we add into this? Maybe we wanted to enroll them in a course. We forgot to add that in there, right? So it says unable to enroll contacts. There's no courses, but you could actually enroll them into a course. I'll show you how to do that in a later module once we start creating courses. Okay, so I'm going to discard that one, but you could do that step if you were there and had something to enroll them in or unenroll them in there. Okay, so a lot of cool things. If you have community set up, you can grant or revoke community access. And then as we started earlier, you can go through third-party integration and perform actions through those third parties as well. So lots of cool stuff. This is why I said, come in here, check out what all these actions are. look at what it is that you want to do inside your funnel. Do you need to upgrade, downgrade people? Do you need to enroll people or disenroll them? Do you need to base some of these actions on things that are happening out there? Do you need to add them to a third-party system? That's what this workflow is going to do for you. It's going to give you a lot of flexibility for you to really take care of that customer and get them enrolled or unenrolled, get them tagged or untagged. And then you can base other workflows on those taggings and untaggings, or you can base other workflows on the fact that they've been unenrolled or enrolled. Okay, so a lot of cool things happening. Just a good way to take care of your customers. Once you have all this really dialed in and tightened up, you're going to have a really good system set up. All right. One of the things I want to create an example for you is the abandoned cart workflow. Once you're done with this, by the way, you can put an end path on this. So let's add the end of this workflow in here. Really doesn't do anything. It just kind of signifies to you that, hey, that's the end, and then nothing else really happens. But once you're done with your workflow, you do want to turn the status to on. So I'm going to click enable there after clicking this, and now it's enabled. We now have a workflow that is active and ready to go for this particular funnel. Okay. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to talk all about creating an abandoned cart sequence and how that process, how that workflow might look. Okay. See you there.